On today's PMEA's Take Note podcast, we are talking about the Crescendo Student Conference. What is it? How do you get involved? How do you get your students involved? All on today's PMEA's Take Note podcast. Well, everybody, I'm Mark Tesfadakis, and welcome to this edition of PMEA's Take Note podcast. Today, we are talking about a wonderful program that PMEA offers known as the Crescendo Student Conference. And we want to talk about what that is, how you can get involved, and some actually wonderful ideas of how you can get your whole classroom involved. So we have two guests on the show today to talk about that. And so first, I'm going to bring in PMEA's Executive Director, Abi Young. Abi, it's great to see you. We work together every day, just not in the same office, literally across the state in different offices. Thanks for being on today.
Thanks for having me. This is exciting.
Yeah. Let's talk about Crescendo. I mean, I think people might hear this and be like, what in the world is this? So talk to us a little. What's Crescendo?
Well, and I think people might also be surprised to know that this is the third year that we're doing this program. So Crescendo started, it started during COVID, but it really was an idea before COVID. And the whole thought really was to try and reach as many students as we can with an interest in music. It doesn't have to be that they're in our festival system or anything like that. The focus is on all the ways you can keep music in your life beyond high school, beyond your education. So Crescendo started 3 years ago. We actually piloted it with the virtual conference that we had in 2021. And it was on a Saturday. And I think we had about little over 100 registrations and students that participated online. And then we continued it last year, but we tried a different time because we had an in-person annual conference, and the whole focus was to always keep this event virtual so we can continue to reach as many students as possible. So last year it took place on a Saturday in May, and we had about the same attendance. So this year we're really trying to spread the word, and we've moved it to a Tuesday during the school day. It'll take place between 9 and 2. Yep. And we're really hoping that our directors can get their students. And it's open to any middle and high school students.
And so we changed the format up then a little bit, not only changing the day to move it to a school day, but then also played with the format a little bit.
Yes, we did. In the past, I think, we were trying to cover everything. And that there's so much in music. Careers in music can span anything from the recording aspect of things, music publishing, being a music educator, being a performer in many different capacities. There's so much. And so I think we tried to encompass almost too much, and it was probably overwhelming. So this year, we're going to have one main general session room, and then we'll have a few breakouts throughout the day as well. But that way, it's a little more focused, and we've added into it the option of a classroom registration. So the idea was that a director can then, just the director would register, and then their entire class, like they can use their classroom, a school auditorium, whatever, and live stream it there so they can reach as many students as possible. And there's no limit to the number of students. A classroom registration is a classroom registration, however many kids you want to include.
And it's still going to be interactive. So in that, in that 9 to 2 live stream channel, anyone can tune into that who is registered for the day. And then we have these presenters, which we'll talk about here in a minute, and anyone who's watching can use the chat feature to ask some questions.
Yep.
And we'll incorporate those in. And then if they want to go to the breakouts, that's going to be on Zoom. They can interact then in a different way there. So it's a little bit different, but it's still going to be interactive. But folks can still access this after Crescendo, right?
This is the perk. Exactly. So everything will still be recorded and available afterwards, at least 90 days. I mean, we'll try and make it so that it's available through the end of the school year. But that was kind of the thinking too. So if you want to stay on the live stream all day long, you can then access those breakouts later, and they now become a resource for you in case, add it to your daily class schedule, or when you're out, hopefully attending the annual conference in person. So then you can have these recordings, and I got to plug everything. But
yeah. So I don't know if we said the date. January 31st is the day. Let's talk about some of the highlights of the year, and you can find all of this on the PMEA website at pmea.net/crescendo. But talk us through some of the highlights.
So Dr. Tim will be our opening keynote speaker, and we're just so grateful he's willing to join us for this. And all of the sessions are formatted in 25-minute blocks there. So we are going to try and cram a lot in here. Yep, this is good. So Dr. Tim, we also will have a performance around lunchtime, and that will be presented by Breaking Winds. And then feel free to chime in, Mark, because we've got so many.
Just saying the Breaking Winds. You might remember the Breaking Winds. They were at a PMEA conference a few years ago. It's a bassoon quartet, and they're just fun. They just have a blast, and they're great musicians, but they're a lot of fun. So they're going to be doing a little concert for us.
And I believe one of the members is in another ensemble, and they were
Kara Lamore is in WindSync and performed with us for Crescendo before. Yeah.
So we're excited to bring her back and the Breaking Winds.
We have somebody from the musical world from Broadway, Kelsey Kimmel.
Yep. And Courtney Coffey from the Marching Arts.
Yep. And she'll also be with us at the in-person conference, but she's going to be presenting a session. We have a session this is actually one of the repeats that was super popular about video game music. So we're bringing that back.
And I missed, because you mentioned, we mentioned Courtney and being at the annual conference. We also have Maria Ellis, who will be a keynote speaker at the spring conference in April. And so we're thrilled to have her join us for this as well.
A session about hip hop and a little bit of the history of that and how that fits into culture. Some sessions about instrument repair, things that you can do on your own. Also, when you should send it in. What's the moment in time that says, this should go to a shop
Don't
somewhere.
do this yourself anymore.
Exactly. Yeah. Talking about a practice session.
I was just going to say practice techniques and tips to do it. Yep.
We want to tell people, go to pmea.net/crescendo, find out all the details. You can see all the speakers' bios. You can see the sessions. You can register. And again, I think the great idea here is this is an in-school field trip. This is something you can do live that day, or you can do it afterwards. But if you want to be part of the live interactive part, it's a great way to do that. So
and the interactive, you're right.
We want to bring in somebody who, no, you're all right. We want to bring in somebody who is doing just that. A woman who I contend never sleeps and is constantly doing for music education and doing for her students. Becky Sensor is here. Becky, hi, good to see you. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, it's great to be here.
And so joining us from the auditorium at school, because we're recording this during a school day, and as a busy music educator knows, you teach wherever it works. So you actually teach one of your classes on the stage.
I do. I'm headquartered in the auditorium Mondays, Tuesdays, and Fridays. And because I teach chorus, both in a large ensemble to the different grades. And we have small groups of chorus throughout the week. So I teach a lot in the auditorium. So I am in the auditorium right now. And if I were to turn the camera around, you'd see that the stage is actually set up for our band concert tomorrow night. So we're keeping it focused over here right now, so I'm not in their way.
Hey, you know what? Music educators know what it's like. You know, you work wherever you are. So we wanted to talk to you about Crescendo because you were actually having a group of your students participate in kind of doing this in-school field trip. So what prompted you to do this? Why are you doing it?
So I've been interested in the whole concept of Crescendo and the student conference since it came out 2 years ago or so. And I really wanted to get as many students involved with it as I could. Unfortunately, being on a Saturday, it seems, because I teach middle school, I teach 5th through 8th grade, our middle school is. And so I want my 8th graders to be involved. And unfortunately, being on a Saturday, it feels like the same students that would probably get the most out of this event and be the most interested in it also had a million activities that they were doing on a Saturday morning. You know, there was dance and piano lessons, and they had, soccer and indoor batting practice, everything. So seeing this year that was on a Tuesday and we could do it in school, in-house, got me thinking and got me really excited about everything. And we are getting as many kids involved as we can, and we're doing it like a real life conference.
Okay, so that's so awesome. I love this idea. And so you found a way to pay for this.
Yes.
That is my absolute favorite way to pay for things. Tell us about that.
So when I said, hey, I really want to do this, and I want to do it as much of a conference event as it can be for these students. I want them to feel like they're at a conference. We're going to have a registration table. We're going to have badges. We're going to like maybe tote bags or something. And I said, could we do some door prizes? Can we make this feel? Can we bring lunch in so they're not going to the cafeteria and then coming back to watch Breaking Winds? They're having the lunch come to them. And, I want this to feel like they are going to a conference someplace and getting that conference experience. And my principal loved that idea, and the superintendent loved the idea. And we made sure we CC'd in all of our correspondence. The principal, she's an elementary principal, but she's in charge of federal funds. And because my principal said, I think we can pay for this through Title IV funds. And sure enough, when Barb got back to us, our federal person, she said, we can pay for this through Title IV funds because it specifically covers conferences. So not only are they going to cover the students' registration, they're also going to cover door prizes and lunch. So we're doing the full conference experience using Title IV funds.
That is awesome. So for those of you listening out there, that's a place to go and make an ask of how to fund this. And to be clear, if you're a PMEA member and you're bringing your class, it's what, $100, Abby? I mean, it's not.
Yes.
This is not a huge amount of money. So go to them and ask for that funding. But they may be able to find this funding elsewhere. But the Title IV and the extras that you're doing blows my mind.
I love that idea of making it the conference. It's their event.
I love a good conference, and my friends and colleagues know that. I love conferences. And I thought, oh my gosh, this could be so much fun. And especially the group of 8th graders I have this year. I think they're going to get so much out of this. And I think they're really going to enjoy that. You're in your school, but it's different and it feels special. And the people that you have presenting are just highest of quality. I'm so excited about it for my students. They're excited about it. We were reading through everything, and they're already deciding what breakout sessions they're going to. And we have other places in the school that are going to, contain our breakout session students. And I'm really, really excited about the event.
Awesome. So, as part of what we're offering is this ability to use it later. So all these recordings will be later. Is that also something that's attractive to you as an educator?
Oh my gosh, absolutely. Because like I said, my 8th graders are going to be the ones attending this. But if there's something that comes out that really benefits any of my students, we can re-show that, and we could be a part of revisiting that idea and that concept, and we can share that with some of our younger students too. I always love to hear what Dr. Tim has to say, and I'm always excited about, some of these other speakers. So even Breaking Winds, we would love to have more bassoon players coming out of our school. So even watching Breaking Winds in probably our general music classes will get them excited about that. So this is all like going to be great to be able to reuse when we're done.
So, all right, the challenge is within 5 years, I want to see a bassoon ensemble in your district paid for by Title IV funds.
We'll get right on that, and we'll try to accept that challenge.
I was going to say, be careful, because Becky will make it happen.
That's right. Becky can make anything happen, it seems. Okay, give us then the pitch. What is the pitch from your perspective to your colleagues, to other music educators? Why should they have their students attend Crescendo?
Oh, I just think it's I know in my school, again, I'm middle school oriented, and I'm going to answer this like a middle school teacher. One of our focuses as a whole building is career and future ready. And even if you're not making a career out of music education or a career out of being a studio musician or anything having to do with the music industry, I think it's so important to think about how music can fit in to your lifelong process, to your lifelong enjoyment, how it can always be a part of your life, not even in that career ready, but future ready. How can you keep this something you already really like? And I always say middle school students are the most passionate people you're ever going to meet. When they love something, they love it completely. When they don't love something, they also do not care for it completely. So I feel like if you can get them and they are excited at this age, and you can say, oh my gosh, not only is this something for here and now and your future, but in your short-term future, when you're about to enter high school, you're going to have all these opportunities from this organization called PMEA. And I think it's so great that my kids are already, and they do attend we have the chorus fests and the junior district things and band fest. And I think they're already starting to become associated with what PMEA is. But I think this is such a great way to say it's not just sitting in an ensemble. Here's all these other things. Here's all these other things that you can do with music in your life, even as an individual. And I think that's probably the biggest pitch for me.
And
for everyone.
I'll throw in the career piece. Schools are required to provide some career experiences for students at certain grade spans, and so we have said, yeah, that makes sense, we're on board with that, and we will be providing something after the conference to everyone to say, look, if you need an artifact, because that's what the buzzword is for this, if you need the artifact, here's how you get it. And if they don't need it, they don't have to do it, but if they do, we want to provide that as an opportunity.
Yeah.
So
we have career ready classes built into our we don't have electives. We have exploratory classes. So in 5th grade and 8th grade, 2 of our exploratory classes are future ready. That's what they're called, future ready. So this lines up with that perfectly. In fact, I think our 8th grade future ready teacher is actually going to be helping out a little bit that day with the conference. So we're getting everyone involved. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Awesome. Well, I've said it how many times. I just want to clone Becky Sensor and place her in schools across the nation, because she does such amazing stuff. And so we're so glad you're participating in Crescendo and leading the way on this.
I'm willing to share this. Yeah, because
I'm so happy about it.
It's fantastic.
This really should give some good ideas to fellow members.
Yeah. So we want to see all of you and all of your students participating in Crescendo January 31st, 9 to 2. Everything's available after pmea.net/crescendo. Check the schedule, register. It's all there. So Abby and Becky, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
And thank you all for joining us on this edition of PMEA's Take Note podcast. We want to thank our sponsor, the Grove City College Department of Music. We'll see you next time.